Welcome to Independent Presbyterian Church. I'm Jeff McClellan, the Director of Music and Fine Arts here, and I'm so pleased that you chose to join us for this opening event of the annual Religious Arts Festival. On the back of your program are the other events of the week to which you are cordially invited. The only thing that costs is the banquet. Everything else is free. If you want to come to the banquet, you can make a reservation online by Sunday and be involved with the improvisation group. It's going to be a lot of fun. Piffaro is a world-renowned group of Renaissance players. We've had them here twice in the course of the last 25 years, and I'm so pleased that they can come back and join us again. Wonderful players, great program. I think you'll really enjoy all of this. At the end of the concert, the players will remain up front if you would like to come and speak with them, take a look at the instruments. They'll be more than happy to show the instruments to you and talk about them. If you're interested in purchasing a CD, there are CDs available in the parlor out this way, and they're $20, and you can pay by cash or check and take home a little bit of their music. Please take a moment to silence your cell phones now so that we don't get surprises in the middle of the concert. I've already had one, and mine went off earlier, and I went, ooh, I got to remember to tell everybody. Yes, it's really great. But thank you so much for coming, and help me welcome Piffaro.
Thank you so much for having us back. It's been a few years. We're Piffaro, the Renaissance Band. We're so happy to be back in Birmingham, back in this beautiful sanctuary. We play the music and the instruments of the professional wind bands of the 15th and 16th centuries. And among the 7 of us, we play about 50 different instruments. So I want to relatively quickly run through them all so you know what you're hearing and what you're looking at. We began with some bagpipes. The Renaissance version of the bagpipe, or the 16th century version of the bagpipe, is a lot quieter and smaller and more shepherd-like than what we tend to think of today, which is really the Scottish Highland pipes. And those are the most famous bagpipes today. But really, every European culture had some kind of a bagpipe. It's really just a bag that you pump up, which acts as a reservoir for air, and anytime you need to take a breath, you pump. The rest of the time, the notes are coming out of the chanter that you play your melody on, and then a drone, and those are both actually double-reeded. Those have double reeds in them, so they're double-reed instruments, kind of like the next instruments you'll hear, which really are the meat and potatoes of what a Renaissance wind band was. The shawm family, we have soprano and alto sizes of what is essentially, and tenor size, of what is essentially the ancestor of the modern oboe. It's a double-reed instrument again. They come in families. We have soprano and alto and tenor, and they were really the higher voices of the 15th century loud band. Instruments were really categorized more as loud or soft in the Renaissance, rather than what we think of today like winds, brass, strings, and percussion. The Renaissance loud band would have had shawms on the top, and underneath would have had sackbuts, which is kind of a strange sounding word for what is a trombone. The Renaissance trombone is one of probably the instrument up here that is the closest like its modern descendant. It changed the least, although what the trombone does today, has really changed quite a bit from what it did back in the Renaissance, where it really played with almost every kind of ensemble. It played with loud instruments, and it also played with soft instruments. And the word sackbut comes from the French word sac-bouter, which means to push and pull. Trombone is the Italian version, trompone, which means big trumpet. Did I blow your mind? I don't know, when I learned that blew my mind. The trombone, we're going to have a couple different versions of the instrument that even came before the sackbut. The trombone, really what makes the trombone different from a trumpet is really that a trombone is a slide instrument. That's not quite all of it. But what makes it different from the earlier versions of the trombone is that you have this double slide that gives you all the chromatic notes of the scale, and they have a huge range. What came before that was the slide trumpet, which still has a slide, but the entire instrument has to push and pull away from your face, which is clunky, and also dental work back then was expensive and not very good. So we want to avoid that, and they invented the trombone, which is a good thing. Before they even get to the slide trumpet, we have this, which really just plays the notes of the harmonic series, which is all you need if you want to play fanfares or bring in the king or the emperor. And we're going to play in our next set, we're going to play these straight trumpets, is what they're called. They're put together, various tubes are put together, and they're held together by friction and a wing and a prayer. And they're not good for riding on a horse. But it's fun. We have kind of the whole evolution of the trombone up to that date. We also have, as we get a little bit later in time, the loud band family stretches from just high double reeds and brass to adding a lower double reed instrument, which is the dulcian, the ancestor of today's modern bassoon. When they figured out how to bend wood so that they could take the long tube that contained what was a bass shawm, which is an instrument that's 6 feet tall, when they could bend it in half and put it in an instrument that was half the size, they made this amazing, ingenious invention that was much more portable, and also it meant that you could access more of the instrument because you can use your thumbs for the second half. The dulcian is called the dulcian because it comes from the word dulce or dolce, sweet. So it can play loud, but it also can play nice and soft with recorders. And then we go to our soft family. Is that right? Did I forget anything? Well, one of the most recognizable instruments up here is the recorder. The recorder is an instrument that many people know today because you or your kids played it, maybe in 4th grade. That instrument is actually, that's a real instrument, even if it's plastic. The recorder got to about the got to the Baroque era and was actually more popular than the flute. It was even called the flute. If you ever see the flute in original source material, they're usually referring to a recorder. And if you see transverse flute, they mean the flute that's held on the side. The recorder got to about the time of Bach and Handel, and then the flute was able to be made out of metal and could just project, and the recorder just couldn't cut it through an orchestra. And so the recorder sort of died out until about the 20th century, actually, when it had its own renaissance. The recorder comes in many, 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 many sizes, and you'll see a lot of them in the first half. There's also a transverse flute we'll have tonight. The recorder has a whistle mouthpiece that you blow directly into. The flute, the transverse flute, if you can use your imagination, just picture this in metal and covered with keys. This is the Renaissance version of the flute. Eloise will play this a couple times later in the second half. What else do we have? An instrument that has no modern descendant, is the crumhorn, which is another double reed instrument, and it has, the word krumm is German for curved. There's no real reason for it to have this, although it's cute, and you can hang it on a hook. The crumhorn is a double reed instrument. Could one of you show? There's a double reed inside there, but it's very peculiar. You don't actually blow right onto the reed. You blow into a cap, which is actually how the bagpipe works. You blow into something that makes contact with the reed. This gives you two big limitations. One is it's either on or off. There's no dynamic range at all, and it also means that you can't overblow at the octave, so there's a range of about 9 notes. But a lot of our music doesn't go much out of that range, and when it does, you just get the next smaller size or the next higher or the next lower size. That's why we have so many sizes of instruments. And a consort of crumhorns is a really, really fun thing. And then we've got the lute. You did just hear the lute. The lute was, Grant, my husband, who plays it, likes to say it's the most aristocratic instrument up here. And he's probably right, although, anyway, we've been married a long time. But the lute is we think today the most popular, the most commonly seen plucked string instrument is the guitar. At this time, the guitar was really the folk version of the lute, which was a very aristocratic instrument and was played by kings and played for kings. You might notice it has a lot of strings. That's because they're strung in courses, so you get two to a note, which I think makes it a little bit louder and gives it a bit more of a textured sound. And it has a round back. You'll see that you can tell that it's got that round back and it's got a peg box that's bent back. That's a lute. And then finally, we have a tambourine. And the Renaissance tambourine is a little bit different from the orchestral or the rock tambourine in that all of our instruments, for the most part, come from Eastern origin originally. So the Renaissance tambourine would be played a bit more like an Eastern tambourine would be, in that you hit the skin here and then you play the jingles with your fingers rather than this. Is there anything else? I think that's it. And as I said, you remember all of that, right? At the end, we do love to meet people, and we love you to come up and see some of these. They are beautiful instruments. They're all made lovingly by hand and take a long time to make, and there are only a few people that make them. So if you'd like to come up and see anything, we'd love to talk about them. Anyway, that's plenty of talking. On to the next set. We have 2 more sets, but I wanted to thank you now for coming on this journey, seeing the musical side of this remarkable family, the Bassanos. If you've been reading in your notes, it's the most amazing thing is that they were hugely important in the English court and in Venice for decades, and they were both instrument builders and woodwind players and composers to some extent, but their most important thing to us is that they really sort of reinvented what the woodwind consort was, or not reinvented, but sort of evolved it. We have CDs out there, and I really don't want to take them home. So if you want to come up at the end, they're heavy. Well, not really, but just want to let you know that they're up there again. And once again, we'd love to come up and have you come up and talk to us at the end. 2 more sets, some theater music, and then some more English and Henry VIII. We're going to tune our crumb horns because the last time we played them, it was 0 degrees in Michigan, and now they're kind of not sure what 60 degrees in Alabama is. So we're going to do that. Then we'll play 2 more sets. Thank you.